Knight Silksong, the game that is so incredibly hard to wait for, the game that has one of the most dedicated communities, even without any dev communication. This game has a lot to be excited for. In this video, I'm going to share with you the things that make me most excited about Knight Silksong. If you're watching this video, you probably know how hard it is to wait for Silksong. Now, I'm going to make it even harder by giving you some more things to be excited about. So, I've had a lot of time to get hyped up about Silksong, and I've come up with lots of ideas for what to expect and be hyped up about, and I hope you find them interesting. First up, and probably most obvious, is combat. From what we've seen from the trailers, combat in Silksong will be a lot more fun. Team Cherry has said before that combat will be an important part of Silksong, so I think it's reasonable to believe that Silksong will have even more refined and interesting combat than Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight, in all the fights, but primarily the later ones, has very good combat system, and I can't wait to see how Silksong improves on that. Based on the trailers that we've seen, and from the boss fights in the original game, Hornet is a lot more acrobatic than the Knight, and Team Cherry even says Hornet is a little different as well. She's got a slightly different feel. She's a bit more flowy, maybe a bit more fluid, and has a little bit more momentum for stuff. The second thing to be excited about is the tool system, because it seems really cool to craft your own tools. Basically, you will use crests in Silksong, the same way you use charm notches in Hollow Knight. The tools need to be repaired after a while, using shell shards. The tool system is exciting because it seems like a great way to make the player experience much more customizable than Hollow Knight. Some criticism Hollow Knight received was about not having enough player customization, because there are only a few builds you can do, such as nail, spell, etc. The charms kind of work to fix this, but they mostly just added on to the basic builds. I can't wait to see how Silksong will expand on player customization to account for all different types of playstyles. The third thing to be hyped up about for Silksong is dialogue and NPC interactions. Based on the footage from the trailer plus the E3 demo, the NPCs in Silksong will have a lot more character than the ones in Hollow Knight. I think part of this is because Hornet can talk, unlike the Knight, so we will get dialogue instead of monologue, and it will make the game much more interactive. We've already got so many interesting characters in Silksong, like Lace, Chakra, Forge Daughter, Grindel, Sherma, and so many others. The fourth thing to be excited about is the bosses. Much like combat, it should be pretty close to Hollow Knight, but way more acrobatic and fast-paced. I really like how Hollow Knight's combat relied on positioning the Knight instead of fast-paced action, so I hope Team Cherry won't make it too fast-paced to the point where it feels spammy. However, I don't believe Team Cherry will do this based on the combat we see in the E3 demo. The two boss fights we've seen in the E3, Moss Mother and Lace, both look very interesting and fun. There are also some other bosses that we don't know much about yet, such as Seth and the Bell Beast. The fifth thing to be excited about in Hollow Knight Silksong is the areas. There are tons of areas that have been revealed for Hollow Knight Silksong, and Team Cherry said that there are even more they didn't show yet. I'm very excited about all the areas, because they all look unique and interesting, but in particular the ones I'm most excited about are the Bone Forest, Greymoor, the Deep Docks, and the Coral Forest. There are also lots of other things to be excited about for Silksong that I didn't mention. Like as one of my favorite YouTubers, Miles Nugget, points out, towns will be very interesting, with quest boards and stuff. There's also things like exploration, story, and lore that I'm all very excited about. So as you can see, there are lots of things that I'm excited about for Silksong. It's important to remember that every day Silksong is not releasing, it's getting better.